If you've ever used the pen tool in Illustrator, it's exactly the same in Photoshop. So the idea here is to separate the puzzle pieces from the background using the pen tool. First, we want to make sure our Paths panel is selected. Go to Window, go to Paths, and you'll see the panel over here. Next, you want to select the pen tool using P on the keyboard, or coming over to the tools and selecting it from there. We're going to zoom in just a little bit. So we're going to make our first anchor point by just clicking, and then we're going to make our second anchor point, but this time we're going to click and drag, and that's going to reveal the handlebars for the anchor point. And as you can see, you can drag it to create a curve, and that's called a Bezier curve. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because, let me zoom in just a little bit. There's a slight curve. So let's add a point and drag. And we're going to edit this curve by holding down Command and dragging the handlebars back. Now, if this curve doesn't match here, you can hold down Command and pull the handlebars up to create more of an angle. Next, we're going to scroll down and we're going to click and we're going to drag. And we're going to look and make sure that this line is always on the inside of the object we're trying to cut out. You don't want it on the edge, because sometimes what happens is you get the background bleeding into your object. We're going to place another anchor point, drag, then I'm going to place a point here and drag. Now you'll see that the curvature here does not match. So we can hold down Command and adjust. Now, if it's still not right, we can add a point by just hovering over the line and placing one. From here, you can always hold Command down and pulling it closer. I'm going to continue with this path by holding down Option or Alt, dragging this out, and then hitting another point. I'm going to keep adjusting these anchor handlebars till I get the desired curve. If you want to place another anchor point, say over here, you'll see that it's not in the right direction. So to fix that, you can hold down Option or Alt, grab the handlebar, and move it. So if you hold down Command and you move the handlebars, they both move. But if you hold down Option or Alt, only one moves. So we're just going to keep going. Now, as you can see, let me zoom in here. This line is not hard, it's a feathered edge. So you want to make sure that you're just inside. Now with the puzzle piece, you could probably just make a straight line, but there is a soft curve, so I like to go with that. And then again, just the Command, bring it back. Command and bring it up. And come down, click, drag, click and drag. We're just going to keep going. And click and drag. Now there's a slight curve here, so I'm going to follow that. So I'm going to follow the curve around and place an anchor point here. I'm going to break the degree of angle with Option or Alt. I'm going to follow this around. Command to adjust. Here I'm going to hit Option or Alt. I'm going to follow this around. Once you get the hang of it, it will become second nature, and you will be able to speed up so we're just going to follow this around. Command gives you the select to fix. Option or Alt gives you the chance to adjust. I'm just going to fix this. Now I'm breaking my path by holding Command and Option. Coming up here to make a point. Command or Option. And the idea is to have as little points as possible. You don't necessarily need to make multiple points and keep clicking. Your path will look better the less points you use. So I'm going to speed this along so you don't have to watch this in real time. Always remember to keep the paths on the inside so that, again, that the color on the outside does not bleed through. This is especially important when you're working with photos that don't have a clean background. Okay, so we have the outer part of our path, as you can see here. But we have these little pockets in here of negative space that we need to make sure that we grab. So as long as we're still on the same path and it's selected, we can come in here and I see that I need to adjust this. All right. So we're going to place the anchor point, come around, and again I'm going to speed this up just so that you don't have to watch it in real time. Make sure that you line everything up, move on to the next. Okay, so now our path is made. What can we do with this path? So you want a transparent background. First, you can select the path. You can copy. And you can paste. And let's turn off the background and you'll see that we have a clean path. Let's turn this back on. Let's turn this off. Go back into our paths panel. So what I like to do is save my working path as a path. And what I do is I grab the work path and I drag it down. And this will create my path 1 and it's saved. I can deselect it, and when I start making a new path, you'll see that it's there. But I can also toggle and click on my actual path. And you can rename it if you want. So I'm going to delete this. there's another option that we can do by making a mask. So let's get rid of this. We'll select our path over here. And we'll make a mask. The information's still there. Another way we can use our paths is to create a solid object. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm going to choose a color, and I'm going to use magenta. And I'm going to go back to paths, I'm going to select the path, and I'm going to fill. Now, change this to multiply. You can create many different effects. What I'm using this for is a spot varnish, and the spot varnish files and will line up exactly to your object. So as you can see, there's many uses for the path. And what's great about keeping the paths in Photoshop is you can always come back to it and edit it if you made a mistake. And if you're in Illustrator or InDesign and you place text over top of it and you want to make a text wrap, it will automatically notice that you have a path, and that way you don't have to create another object. So it's always a good habit to getting into saving your paths in Photoshop. So I hope you liked this tutorial. Let me know what you think in the comment. Hope to have more. Thanks again for watching.